Don't mind me, guys. I'm just reading Baylan's kit. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen. We got Baylan's kit reveal last night. And honestly, I thought I had a little bit of a migraine coming on at the end of it. Because, my lord, is there a lot going on in this kit. He is next level. He is literally GL slapping monstrosity. And we haven't even seen his exclusive Datacron yet. Let's go take a look, shall we? And here we have the wonderful, wonderful man that is Baylan Skoll, that dark side mercenary that is going to be disrupting the holotables very, very shortly. He is arriving this week, ladies and gentlemen. Halloween! Halloween is the day that he is coming to the holotables, and you can catch the live unlock on my Twitch or YouTube channel. Make sure you set your alarm clocks and come join me if you miss it. Of course, the VOD will be available, and I will have a video guide out on how to beat the event lickety-split immediately as soon as it goes live. Alright, so, unit name, obviously, Baylan Skoll. He is Father Skollmus, because the gifts that he gives to the game are bountiful, I guess. They're not really. I mean, I suppose more than anything, they're just horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. So, strangely enough, he's a dark side unit. He is a tank, a leader, a mercenary, and an unaligned force user. I think we could all see those tags coming. The key attributes, according to our good friend Meathead, is he has insane levels of offense and defense. You gotta get those stacks, boy. Throw back and get them stacks of Soldier of Fortune. The stacks! He just be taunting. Baylan Skoll do everything in his power to keep that taunt stacks happen here. We get it. We get it, guys. Stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks. So basically, Baylan Skoll, his kit is stacked, yo. Or something like that. Is that what the cool kids say these? I was never a cool kid. Inspiration. Even though his on-screen presence is limited only to the Ahsoka series, we love the gravitas and the power Ray Stevenson brought to the role and thought him and the character to be portrayed to be worthy of an epic confrontation. Well, it certainly is epically confrontational, that's for sure. Each of his ability names comes from a quote in this show. Strategy tips. He is a mercenary leader. He can hand out stacks of Soldier of Fortune to all mercenary allies, including existing characters who have received the mercenary tag retroactively. We're talking about, you know, all those wonderful people that got it, like Scion of Django, like Hondo, like Jedi Knight Cal Kestis for some reason. I don't know. Like, lots of people get that mercenary tag. So it's very interesting, and he can pass around additional stacks of Soldier of Fortune to all of them. At the start of battle, all mercenary allies are going to receive a stack of Soldier of Fortune for each mercenary ally that they have. So a full squad of mercenaries in the Baylan Skoll is going to start with 5 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. However, part of his leadership is he will then double those stacks, so they'll start with 10. Isn't that nice? Additionally, whenever he taunts, a random mercenary ally gets a stack of Soldier of Fortune, and finally, he doubles the amount of stacks all mercenary allies receive. So I believe this is more tied to his kit. He doesn't double all stacks all the time. It's at the start. In his leadership, he's going to double up those stacks at the start. When can we acquire Baylan Skoll? It is starting Halloween at 11 a.m. Pacific. His event will run for a limited time window, so we're probably expecting it to be over by Monday or Sunday even. And you will need to have R7s on Grand Admiral Thrawn. You'll need to have R7 on Marok, on Shin Hottie. She's a hottie. And the Great Mothers. Isn't that fantastic? He has an exclusive Datacron that is only available the very first time that his event comes by. They did say that on the newsletter earlier this year. They said he's going to have it in his initial release, which should come as no surprise, and we can probably expect this Datacron to be just as busted as the Great Mother's Datacron that currently exists in the game, which is probably the most broken Datacron we've ever had. This one is going to top it, I guarantee you. The reason I say this one is going to top that Great Mother's kit Datacron is because this kit blows the Great Mothers out of the water. It is literal GL worthy level of kit is in here. It's absolutely insane, guys. Absolutely insane. So let's get cracking. Basic. That was a mistake. All right, let's have a look. Animation. This guy over here has got the lengthiest, girthiest lightsaber I've ever seen on this game. He is giving Qui-Gon Jinn a run for his money, if you know what I mean. Is he compensating for something? I don't want to say. You be the judge of that. Pretty nice animation overall. Big overhead chop coming down from Baylan Skoll. Deal physical damage to the target enemy, and if it's Baylan Skoll's turn, he's going to recover 5% health and protection, and all mercenary allies are going to gain 5% turn meter and tenacity up for 1 turn. This is just the first sentence of second sentence of the basic. If it's his turn, 5% health and protection recovery, 5% turn meter to all mercenary allies, and they'll all get tenacity up on a basic. If it's not his turn, he'll deal 30% less damage, and he will taunt. So if he counterattacks or is called to assist, taunt. Just taunt. Annoying. Special 1, one must destroy. A cooldown of 3, really cool, vicious, heavy-hitting blows on this. It's really solid animation. You can actually feel the weight behind the attacks. Also, side note, this particular map, really, really cool. Obviously, this is from Peridia, right at the end of the Ahsoka series. Really, really cool. Dispel all debuffs on all mercenary allies and deal physical damage to the target enemy 3 times. Stagger them, inflict defense down and offense down for 2 turns. Baylan Skoll then taunts for 2 turns, and all mercenary allies gain offense up and potency up for 2 turns. That is a lot. It's a cooldown of 3, and he's hitting 3 times. He's doing stagger, defense down, offense down. He's going to taunt, and all mercenary allies gaining offense up and potency up. It's huge. It's so much in one kit. All right, we're not even started yet, guys. Special 2, power. Such as you've never dreamed. Zeta and omicrons. Strangely enough, these omicrons are for Grand Arena Championships. Cooldown of 4 on this special. Absolutely love it. Once again, huge AoE pirouette. He moves like a dancer and hits like a freight train. I'm happy about it. All right. Deal physical damage to all enemies, dispel all buffs, and stun them. So it's an AoE, dispel, stun. Good. Anybody that resists the stun will lose 50% turn meter, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever this ability is used, Baylan Skoll is going to stack 5% tenacity, and if he has more than 40 stacks of Soldier of Fortune, all mercenary allies are going to ramp up 20% offense for the rest of battle. And this persists through defeat, so if you revive somehow, they're coming back. So say Boba Fett Sign of Django, he has got Bounty Hunter's Resolve. You defeat 1 stack of him, he bloop, comes back alive, he's still going to retain all that stacking offense. In Grand Arenas, enemies who resist the sun will lose all of their turn meter instead, which can't be resisted, and inflict an AoE armor shred. AoE armor shred. That's really strong. Whenever this ability is used, all mercenary allies are also going to gain 10 speed, stacking up to a maximum of 100 until the end of battle, and persist through defeat. So we're just casually going to stack up to 100 speed. It's fine. Absolutely fine. He has got a unique here called Master and Apprentice, Zated and Omicron. If Shin Hoti is an ally at the start of battle, Baylan is going to gain 5 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. If Marok is an ally, you gain another 5 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. Whilst Baylan is active, Marok and Shin gain 10% crit avoidance and 20% evasion. Joy. Whenever an enemy evades Baylan's attack, he's going to ramp 2% offense for the rest of the encounter, and all mercenary allies are going to recover 20% health and protection. So don't try and evade. Don't try and evade, they will out-heal you and out-ramp you. Kind of nutty. At the start of his turn, Baylan recovers 3% health and protection and gains the following effects based on the number of stacks of Soldier of Fortune. If he's got 45 or more stacks, whilst Baylan is taunting, he will reflect 45% of the damage dealt to him. Now, we've had this in Datacrons before where it reflects 20% damage. And it basically does nothing, especially when you've got high levels of defense, reducing the incoming damage. 20% is nothing. 45% is a significant amount of damage. Okay? He doesn't take reduced damage from percentile health effects, so, you could probably hurt him quite a bit, but he does have boatloads of defense in this kit, okay? If he's got 50 or more stacks, whenever Baylan attacks an enemy inflicted with Purge, he's going to expose them, and whenever he's got 55 or more stacks, whenever he stuns an enemy, he reduces their speed by 10 for the rest of the battle, up to a stacking 100. So if you pair that with the previous one over here, this Omicron over here, basically when you're using the other AoE that can stun, he's going to be giving all of his mercenary allies up to 100 speed, and he will be reducing enemy speed up to 100. This is an AoE stun, guys. AoE stun. So if he stuns all of the enemy team, that's everybody loses 10 speed. You can create a 200 speed gap here. A 200 speed cap by reducing the enemy speed by 100 and gaining additional 100. Huge. Absolutely huge. Of course, he does need a lot of stacks. So when in Grand Arena, at the start of his turn, Baylan is going to gain the following effects depending on how many stacks of Soldier of Fortune he has. At 45 stacks or more, whenever Baylan is damaged while he's taunting, he's just going to give random mercenary allies speed up for 1 turn. Not huge, but it's something. At 50 or more stacks, whenever Baylan attacks an enemy inflicted with Purge, he also reduces their tenacity by 20%, up to a maximum of 100 until the end of battle. That's quite nice. Constantly reducing their tenacity make it easier to land debuffs. I can get on board with that. 55 stacks or more, whenever Baylan stuns an enemy, he also increases their cooldowns by 1. That's really annoying. AoE stun, everybody loses their cooldowns. Oosh. I mean, it's by 1, but still. It's kind of like, out of all of his omicrons, I think this is probably the weakest, but it's still strong. It's still strong. Unique 2, Soldier of Fortune. At the start of battle, Baylan Skoll is going to gain 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune for each relic amplifier level he has. So if he's relic level 9, he's going to start off with 9 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. He's also, don't forget, if he's got Baylan and if he's got Shin and he's got Marok, he's gaining an additional 10 Soldier of Fortune stacks there. So he could start off with 19 right at the start of the battle. Whenever Baylan Skoll taunts, and then he'll double it, so it'll go up to 38. Whenever Baylan Skoll taunts, a random mercenary ally is going to gain 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. Now, that ally can be himself as well, because it doesn't say other ally. And if Baylan has more than 3 stacks, he loses 3 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So he will be losing quite a few, but he'll gain it very quickly. Whenever Baylan is damaged whilst taunting, he's going to gain another stack of Soldier of Fortune. At the start of their turns, mercenary allies are going to get 5% health steal stacking and 2% defense stacking for each stack of Soldier of Fortune until the start of the next turn. So, you know, if you've got 40 odd stacks of Soldier of Fortune, you're going to gain, 80% defense and, lots of percent health steal. This team's going to be so fun to try and kill. You'll do no damage, they'll heal up, they'll ramp up max health, max offense. It's going to be stupid. Alright, so what's next? Leader, it's all inevitable. Third, Zeta and Omicron. At the start of battle, Baylan Skoll is going to gain 30% offense, and all mercenary allies gain 20% tenacity and 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune for each active mercenary ally. Then mercenary allies are going to double their current stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So let's look at a Relic 9 Baylan. He's going to gain 9 stacks of Soldier of Fortune thanks to his unique. He's going to gain 10 stacks thanks to, Shin and Marok. Cool. So we're at 19. Then he's going to gain 5 stacks for a full team of mercenary allies. So we're at 24, right? 24 stacks. And then he's going to double the stacks. Is he really going to have like 48 stacks of Soldier of Fortune turn 1? That's kind of nutty. So, this first part here is incredibly interesting. Whenever a mercenary ally gains a stack of Ransom, all mercenary allies are going to gain 1% defense stacking for the rest of the encounter and recover 5% health and protection. It is literally only Hondo Onaka in the game that gains Ransom. And he's kind of fallen off, but it looks like he's getting baked into Baylan Skoll. Having that level of control and that level of ramping and irritation is going to be kind of cool. My only concern, I guess, is when it comes to Datacrons, is that Hondo doesn't benefit from the light side, dark side level 3, but it's kind of a moot point, I think. So this is kind of cool. Giving them an additional 50% stacking defense is just what we want. And recovering health and protection. Now, the thing I would say is that Ransom does cap out at 50, right? So this is going to provide a benefit, but there is a cap. Whenever a mercenary ally has health steal up, they gain 25% crit damage and protection up 50% until health steal up expires. That's not bad. Shin, I believe, passes it when she's got 25 stacks of Soldier of Fortune, uses one of her specials. She gains health steal up, so that's not too terrible. Whenever a mercenary ally is dazed or stunned, they're going to dispel it, and all mercenary allies will recover 25% health and protection. That'll be great against, say, like Lord Vader, Phoenix, all that sort of business. That's really not so bad. So, don't try and daze or stun this team. It's kind of a bad idea. Watch out. If there are no enemy galactic legends, whenever a mercenary ally is inflicted with fear, all mercenary allies gain 50% bonus max protection. That's maximum protection, guys. The maximum amount of protection they can have, not bonus protection, can't be dispelled. They're just going to have more protection. And they're going to gain 50% offense stacking. Do not try and use Sith Empire against Baylan Skoll. Do not try and use Bastila Shan or Malak or Malgus or Darth Revan. Don't do fear, because this first one here is nutty. Oh, and then they recover 50% health and protection. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not all of it. So you can use those, but you're going to have to take in a Galactic Legend with it. all right? You're going to have to take in, like, C. You're going to have to take in Lord Vader. Something in there to turn off this fear effect. I'm pretty confident that C Sith Empire will do fine. I actually think that C Bane will actually beat this team, but we'll have to wait and see. And as well, if they get feared, deal true damage to all enemies which can't be evaded or defeat them, blind them for 1 turn which can't be evaded or resisted, and inflict them with heal immunity for 1 turn, which of course can't be evaded, dispelled, or resisted. Don't try and take Sith Empire against this team, you will die. Whenever a mercenary ally assists or attacks out a turn, they gain 2 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. And so this is every ally, so it includes himself. If you call him to assist or attack out a turn, he's going to gain 2 stacks of Soldier of Fortune. The first time each other mercenary ally falls below 50% health, Baylan Skoll taunts for 2 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. Not too shabby. Whilst taunting, Baylan has got 50% defense, 30% tenacity, retribution, and retribution. So yeah, he's going to counterattack. Basically, whilst he taunts, he will counterattack. He's got 50% defense, he's got 30% tenacity, and it's just wonderful. And in Grand Arena, so here's the final part. I told you this kit was long, guys. In Grand Arena, at the start of battle, Baylan's going to taunt, so he becomes a pre-taunt in GAC with this Omicron, which of course means 50% defense, lots of tenacity, retribution. If there is a non-Galactic Legend Ahsoka enemy, so let's be clear, all this means is if the enemy team has got an Ahsoka that is not a Galactic Legend, so Snips, Fulcrum, Commander Ahsoka Tano, yeah, mercenary allies ignore protection. Great. So they'll just hit straight to health. They're immune to critical hits, and they're immune to heal immunity, and they expose all the enemy and inflict them with heal immunity for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted at the start of each of their turns. What? What? That's just dumb. That is so dumb. I mean, like, if you take any form of Ahsoka that isn't the new GL Ahsoka, they attack under your protection, you can't critically hit, you cannot, you cannot critically hit, you cannot land heal immunity, and every single time you take a turn, you're going to be exposed and heal immunity the entire team without resistance. Guaranteed. So stuff like JMK gets absolutely destroyed by Baylan Skoll with this Omicron. JMK will never be on defense if you have this Omicron because he gets ruined by this, thanks to Snips and Cap being, such pivotal parts of his team, right? If there are no Galactic Legend enemies as well, whenever Baylan taunts, he inflicts all enemies with doubt for 1 turn, which means no bonus TM, no buffs. That's kind of nutty. If Baylan is not taunting, whenever an enemy takes a bonus turn, they're inflicted with healing immunity for 3 turns, which can't be dispelled. It's just like... We're still going, by the way. We're still going. Like, bonus turns means heal immunity, so I'm thinking stuff like Vader, ruined. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, ruined. Maul, ruined. Because you get inflicted with a locked heal immunity for 3 turns on every bonus turn if Baylan's not taunting. Whenever an enemy gains Foresight, they dispel it, and they're inflicted with buff immunity for 2 turns instead. JMK, Great Mothers. All these things that get Foresight immediately get encountered with buff immunity and dispelled. Whenever an enemy gains Inspired, I think this should be Inspired, reduce that enemy's evasion by 50% stacking till the end of the encounter. So don't think you can, ramp up Evasion Mastery under Rey, for example. And all mercenary allies gain 80% defense and 50% bonus protection stacking until the end of the encounter. So GL Rey, every single time GL Rey takes a turn, she inspires a random ally, okay? Every time she takes a turn, the whole team's going to lose 50% evasion, and mercenary allies are going to stack 80% defense every turn. If they've got Bag Bro Finn and he's passing inspiration around as well, 80% stacking defense, 50% stacking bonus protection. What? Oh, and defeated enemies can't be revived, and mercenary allies are also immune to instant defeat. So, JMK, Cat, nope. Nihilus, nope. Jabba calling in the Rancor, nope. Bounty Hunters trying to disintegrate with Mando, nope. Nihilus, nope. It's like... They can revive, you can't. Bonus info, Baylan Skoll will not be required for GL Ahsoka. I think we all knew that. There were no more dark side requirements in the Ahsoka hub, but we have given that CT Rex, the original Clone Trooper Rex, is required for Baylan Skoll at Relic 7, which is fantastic, and it was part of my prediction video earlier. You can see that in the top right corner over there. Sorry, microphone, didn't mean to poke you directly in the face. I did have CT Rex at Relic 7 as one of my theorized requirements, so booyah, nailed it. And this is kind of it, guys. This is kind of it. Absolutely flipping insane kit. It took me 20 minutes to get through that. I just, like, genuinely, the Datacron isn't even in the game yet. So, who knows what that's going to bring to this kit, because it feels like he doesn't even need mods and this thing will dominate. I don't know what kills it. Well, actually, I've got a few ideas. I think that C stands a chance. I think that potentially Slacker stands a chance thanks to ramping stats and stuff like that, and mastery sapping. I think Bane under C is probably going to be a pretty good shout. C Bane in GAC I think is a good shout, thanks to all the mastery, the immunity to critical hits, the immunity heal immunity, you know, being able to sap away their enemy's max protection with C and being able to sap away their max health with Bane. I think we might actually see C Bane being the de facto counter. Don't know yet. In practice, it makes sense. In theory, sorry, it makes sense. In practice, it might not work at all. I don't know. And potentially, there is an interesting train of thought here, thanks to this modifier here. If there is a non-galactic legend Ahsoka enemy, so if there is Snips, Fulcrum, or Commander Ahsoka Tano on the enemy team, then they're all going to ignore protection. And there is a train of thought that says maybe General Skywalker can beat this team if you throw in Snips. If you throw in Snips, she is a 501st ally. 501st, you've got Snips in this team. She does have the tag because at the time that Gas came out, there was no ARC Trooper, I believe, and they wanted to have a full team that you could play with. General Skywalker, under its leadership, allies can't actually lose max health if they've got protection. So all your Clone Trooper allies cannot actually take damage to their health as long as Gas is standing. If he's standing up and taunting, if he's in that advanced pose, I think it is, nobody can lose any health damage. So if you throw in Snips, take out ARC Trooper, throw in Snips, the enemy can't actually hurt your health. And they can't strip away Gas's protection because all their damage is going under protection, which is interesting, right? So that might be a theory, and because they're not immune to percentile health effects, you can actually yeet people out with Rex's aerial advantage. So if you can build up enough turns with your Clone Troopers, this does max health damage. You could probably aerial advantage out units one at a time. Gas is also going to ramp up a lot of offense. You just have to be a little bit concerned about that damage reflection ability that Baylan has if he's got 45 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So that's something to consider, but I think potentially Gas with Snips has a shot here. Failing that, I think it's most likely going to be like C Bane, or maybe C Armorer Watt GBA Thrawn, something like that. Maybe some similar sort of setup with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I think the likes of Rey get completely barreled by this. I think maybe Lord Vader has a chance, but probably not. I think that Slacker potentially has a chance. C has a chance. I think JML gets bodied hard, thanks to the bonus turns from Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, unless you don't use him. I think JMK gets so hard counter it's not even funny, and I think Rey gets absolutely destroyed as well. So, oh, and Jabba can't eat people, so you have to be dependent on thermal detonators, but the enemy team has got a lot of defense, and thermal detonators do less damage if you have high defense. So I don't know, guys. I don't know, generally. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. We'll be doing testing as soon as we've got that kit unlocked. I'm going to take him straight to Relic 9 and triple Omicron him, because why the devil wouldn't I with a kit like this? He's more powerful than some GLs. It's kind of nuts. What do you guys think about this kit? Far too much power creep, power leap, power hyperspace jump? Something like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you do like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And a huge shout out to my wonderful patrons. You guys are the business. Thank you for supporting me. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.